morning. My name is Pablo and I'm going to talk about the fear of flying. First, I'm going to ask a question. How many of you have experienced fear of flying, or have you ever experienced fear of flying? If the answer is yes, I'm going to give 4 points in this speech so you will be able to handle the fear of flying. The first point is psychology behind fear of flying. The second is flight training. The third is the statistics, and the fourth is maintenance. Right now, I'm going to give a brief meaning of what a fear is. A fear is an emotional response when you perceive a threat. When we talk about fear of flying, we ask ourselves this question: how common is fear of flying? It is estimated that 1 out of every 5 people are afraid of flying. Fear ranges from a slight apprehension to a complete inability to fly. What exactly do people fear? A fear of flying represents 60 to the 50% of fearful flyers. Many people fear also being enclosed in a small place for a long period of time. The associated fears with fear of flying are feeling out of control, claustrophobia, and fear of the unknown. Fearful thoughts and rational responses. Once people get inside the plane, they start asking themselves these type of questions. What if we hit a turbulence? What if we run into a bad weather? What if the airplane has a mechanic problem? At the end of this speech, you will be able to answer those questions by yourself. How to overcome your fear? Face your fears and practice relaxation breathing while you're on the plane, and educate yourself about fear. Flight training. The airline's main goal is to provide safety, so airliners hire just qualified pilots. But pilots have to meet 2 types of requirements. They have to be hours, they have to meet experience requirements and medical standards. This is an example of a pilot license. In order to get a private pilot license, pilots must be a total of 40 hours, commercial 250 hours, and airline transfer pilot 1,500 hours. The medical standards are divided in 3 types: the first, the second, and the third. The first class is just for airline transfer pilot. That's the toughest one because that requires pilots to have a perfect sight. They need to be fit, healthy, and they need to revalidate it every 6 months. The second and third class medical standards are required for pilots that are experiencing the privileges of being a commercial or a private pilot. Pilots start their training in flight simulators, and they prepare themselves for emergencies. And while they are preparing themselves for the emergencies, they develop something that is called the ADM. ADM stands for Aeronautical Decision Making. The aeronautical decision making is a systematic approach used by pilots to seek for the best course of actions. Pilots cannot have an impulsivity attitude because they have to think first, and they have to seek for the best option. The aircraft equipment that enhances safety. It is the aircraft separation, ATC, radar, transponder. This is an example of a radar. Airplanes are under surveillance the entire flight, and they provide planes the weather, traffic, and advisories of the airport. This is an example of a GCAS. It's an instrument that is installed in the plane. It tells the pilot whenever he has a plane close by, if the plane is climbing, descending, the instrument will tell the pilot that. The airplanes are also equipped with a weather avoidance system. Pilots use this type of instrument to avoid encounters with turbulence or thunderstorms. Pilots are trained and airplanes are equipped with everything they need for a safe flight. Statistics in aviation. FAA laws and regulations are making flights safety. Early pioneers had more accidents because they didn't have as much technology as we have right now. We have developed more safety planes, and there are more safety and accurate instruments. Rational versus emotional risk assessment. What are the odds? You can be a victim of violence in the sewers, 1 in 2,000. Develop a brain tumor, 1 in 25,000. You can win the lottery, 1 in 4 million. You can be in an airplane mishap, 4,600,000. The statistics in aviation, according to the FAA and NTSB, determine that the safest mode of public transportation is by plane. The maintenance of the aircraft. Aircraft are designated manufactured, operated, and maintained under the most professional scrutiny. And they need to do two types of inspections, the annual inspection and the 100-hour inspection. Also, they train the personnel to do the maintenance using this type of material, airframe and powerplane books, our recurrent training. The safety design, also the aircraft need to meet some FAA standards, some multiple electrical system standards also. So in conclusion, by remembering these four things, you can have a better understanding that there is really nothing to be afraid of, that to fly a plane is really safe. Thank you.